Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got my awesome guest here who's been on the show for 31 days earlier, I guess. I don't when did we do that?
I think it was the toy box.
Yeah, the toy box, but that was a while ago, it feels
Yeah,
like. I don't know.
that was a few months ago.
Yeah, a few months ago, which is funny. But yeah, please welcome Chad Meisenheimer. I keep wanting
Yep.
to call you Weisenheimer.
I
Um,
get it all the
we
time.
know, but I talked to you about that the last time, and I still do that. I'm like, wait, is it? No, it's Meisenheimer. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing great. Just got back from vacation and kind of getting back into the normal groove in LA.
Well, good, good. I'm glad you're back, and I'm glad you're able to come on here. It was kind of a last minute thing, so I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So we're here to talk about the 2005 film Legion of the Dead, created by the Asylum, written and directed, and I believe this is the only movie, at least
Mhm.
feature or whatever, directed by Paul Bales, who I know from Twitter. That sounds terrible, but I
Oh, me
don't
too. Me too. I'm in
physically
the same
know
boat.
him or anything. But yeah, I haven't met him yet, but I did you meet him? Because I know you worked on the
I
asylum.
feel like I've met him. I'm like, I don't think he'll remember, but I have gone to there's I guess location for auditions in the past and stuff where I met him and Glenn. I haven't met David, but Scotty and Glenn and I'm pretty sure I met him. I'm just because I met a whole bunch of people.
Well, he was like one of the main producers. He's one of the head honchos
Mhm.
at the
The
asylum.
financing.
There's like a trifecta there of David Michael Latt, who's directed, I think, one as well of the movies. I know he did like War of the Worlds, the their version of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, and then I don't think David Romawi has directed
Mm-mm.
anything.
No, he has. I don't think he has.
So, and as far as I know, like I think Paul and um what is it? David are more of the like creative branches, and
Mhm.
David Ramawi, and I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
It's
It
like to be
happens.
canceled. Canceled.
It can happen. But I think what David Ramawi is like some more like the business guy.
Mhm.
It's more of the guy who's like, controls of the business stuff. I'd
Mhm.
have to talk to people who actually like literally know them more, like worked with them on the more of a level. I acted in Collision Earth, which was with Eric Roberts, at a little teeny tiny like scene with him, which was pretty neat. But aside from that, I was always a Silent fan. I became an Asylum fan when I first watched Beast of Bray Road. In my kitchen, I was like looking for something to watch on TV. I was in a bad mood and
Mhm.
I wanted something that would cheer me up. And the Sci-Fi Channel always cheered me up when they had movies. And Beast of Bray Road was the first thing I ever saw of them, and I fell in absolute love. And then realized they did mockbusters and all that stuff. So
Because I think I heard about like because I was even talking to like David Michael Latt about it because I told Paul I was doing a review of this movie and he's like, I'm sorry. And then David comes in and goes, we're all sorry. But
wait, what?
yeah, yeah,
So
I
you actually
posted.
talked to him?
Yeah, I talk to Paul all the time. Yeah,
Wait, Paul Bales? You talk to
yeah,
Paul all the time? Okay.
yeah. Yeah, no, I can't like and Latt sometimes he comments sometimes on my thing, but Paul I do usually talk to a lot. But yeah, no, accuses like I'm sorry, and I'm like, no, I actually liked it, but I knew like because I was watching the silent films like when they were just mainly distributors in like the late '90s when they were doing those what was it the Asylum when they were working doing like their partnership with the Hollywood Videos. So it was like the late '90s when I started kind of getting into their stuff. So I've always been a fan of Asylum. So
I have too. And so I remember seeing Legion of the Dead. I
mhm.
think I rented it on Netflix back
I
when.
feel like I've seen it too because the opening scene, I remember the two dumb bikers. I'm like I've seen this before. Like I feel like me and my brother watched it because we used to watch a lot of sci-fi channels because he was sick. So he would always watch sci-fi channels and he always watch sci-fi channel. And I'm pretty sure I'm like I felt like I've seen it because like when I saw the two dudes on the bike, I was like, I've seen this a long, long time ago.
So yeah, so to go into the storyline, I mean, it's mummies, but like because okay, so it's called Legion of the Dead, right?
Mhm.
When you think of the dead, you
You
don't
think
think
of
of mummies,
zombies or
right?
like zombies, like because I was thinking like when you first told me it was like zombies or vampires, hopefully hot lesbian vampires. But no,
That's
I was
usually,
just
I
like when I
mean,
saw
for
it,
the
I was like,
asylum, that's not too far off,
no,
like
exactly.
you
And
know.
also the first thing that also threw me off here, I was like, I was kind of confused with. It's not with the story, but on because I was doing research on it, they said it was R rated, but Tubi played it as TV 14. So
Oh
I'm
yeah, not
wondering.
TVMA or
No, not TV.
17.
No, it was
Mm.
it was TV 14. And I was wondering if like they cut out stuff because I felt like they could have gone like there's certain scenes. I was like, feels like they're cutting it out. But I was wondering if you had any knowledge of that
I
because I
was
didn't.
not aware
Yeah.
of that. I didn't even know I didn't even look and see what it's rated. It's just because and TV 14 is probably what it's rated on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
So
So that's why I
the
felt like
only
they did like a.
thing that would make this R rated, in my opinion, is the nudity in the
Yeah,
movie.
and that's what
Like,
I was
it's
hoping for. I was like, come on, come on, come on. And I was like, there
but
wasn't,
there
but
was
they
the
really
nudity,
don't
but
do it.
like the asylum always does this,
Oh yeah,
where the nudity is like not sexual. Like
no, no, no.
I'm sorry, I am not like I'm not all of a sudden getting like all hot and bothered
Oh
watching
no,
a
no, no,
naked chick get out of a pool and and shit like that. Like it just didn't really. But she
no,
was
no.
hot. She was hot. The actress who played Amatet or
Yeah, her
Annette
name
as
was Claudia Lynx. Like I was like, I made a joke, but I was just like Claudia Yum. And I was just
yeah.
like, people were like you're like, Chad, you're gonna get us canceled.
No, no, no. She was hot though. She was good. And what is she else she acted? I'm looking her up right now.
She was a model. That's what she mainly is known for, is modeling.
She was in Succubus Hellbent, which we reviewed on Indie Film Cafe. Is like, so at one point before we did quick review Thursday, we would do videos
Mhm.
of of like different what is it different like random reviews,
Mhm.
and we would do it whenever. And Paul, my buddy, who's my co-host, did one for Succubus Hellbent, and it actually blew up on our YouTube
Oh, nice.
because I guess if people are like looking up Succubus Hellbent, we were the only review on
Wow.
YouTube at the time. At the time, I don't know if there's been more, but that was like 2000, I want to say 18. So at the time, we were the only one who had done a Succubus Hellbent review.
Mhm.
So Paul did his review of it, and people, I guess, were excited just to see somebody talk about it. And that's a lot of what we try to do at like Indie Film Cafe and on that's especially for 31 days of indie horror. I like to find movies that not many people are talking about. Like, are you there? Are you
Yeah, I'm
good?
sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm listening. No, I'm listening. I didn't want to
Okay.
interrupt.
But that's it. So that's all I was saying. I was like,
Okay.
wait. Um, but anyway, yeah. So she was in that, and I think that was about it. She hadn't really been in many of the other movies aside from that. Now they do have like regulars like Amanda Ward,
Mhm.
um, who I looked her up, and I guess she's now living somewhere else, like in Georgia or something, and she's like married. She's like away from the film community, but she played Kara, who's like one of the archaeology students,
Mhm.
or whatever, like basically an assistant to Rhett Giles, who's a typical guy there and the thing, and Andy Lauer are the main, like, and Jared Cohn's in it as well, who's one of the big directors for the asylum. So they have a lot of people who got their start in the beginning of the asylum that have like, kind of continued to go on for a while. Um, were you familiar with Rhett Giles?
Not too much. Not too much.
You ever seen Jolly Roger, Massacre at Cutter's Cove?
No, one I have not seen. No.
That's a fun one. We did that for Indie Film Cafe, and
I
Rhett
gotta check that one
Giles
out then.
is a pirate in that. Gets to play
Okay.
Jolly Roger in that.
Oh, okay.
It's like, yeah, it's pirate movie where they're just, they unleash a pirate spirit that's going around, and he says, you know, one-liners like "Get away from my booty," and shit like that.
In the movie, that's the worst one line that kills me in the movie. Where's my mummy?
That was Red Giles. Who
Yes, yes,
said
yes.
that? Yeah.
That's like, as we said that, I was like, oh, okay, now I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Where's my mummy? Still sounded like a bad guy or whatever. He still sounded like a bad. Well, he was a bad guy. He was. He wanted. Okay, so I don't know how long like they've been doing stuff like this for, but movies, a lot of these horror films tend to have this sort of thing where there's that one guy that wants to bring. Hocus Pocus 2 did this recently. They want to bring back the bad people, and then they realize, oh God, I could be like killed for this, right? But like in this particular sense, he wanted to like help her find the victims, and then kind of lure them in there and be her, like, I guess,
sacrifices.
Yeah, the sacrifices and everything, which none of them agreed to be sacrifices. Their poor souls, and then they were and she was looking for a virgin, and I guess they found that one guy at the end. I was like, really? He kind of does seem that way, but like I wasn't sure.
Right.
I wouldn't have guessed, or whatever. And I was surprised that like there wasn't a sort of a line, because she was like, "Oh, this guy will do," and like you know what I mean. And then I thought the girl would go, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Because I was originally thinking it was going to be the Kevin character, the girl with the dude's name. I was like, I thought that would be more what it was, but they didn't go that route. But no, it's just like, what I like about the Asylum is that they know it's low budget, but they have fun with it, but they still play it with sincerity. And I think that's why their films work. They also have production. Like, yeah, there's certain things that is low budget, like especially like the graphics and the special effects. You could tell it was low budget, but the makeup and the prosthetics and the practical effects was actually really spot on. I was actually like okay, they were having fun with it, and like even the writing wasn't that bad. Like the acting wasn't too bad. It was just like they make films and they're in on the joke, but they do it with sincerity, where you enjoy it. Where films like you see Birdemic, which just was complete trash. It's not a silent movie at all, but I'm just saying, like when certain things get low budget, or it's like, like it hurts to watch. There's you just could enjoy to watch. Like I would actually like to see Paul Bales do like more. I think he's done a couple more things as a writer, but I would actually like to see him do more things directing. I mean, like it was like, once again, it came out in 2005, and it's now what, 2022, and I'm just like, and he's more of the money guy dealing with the checks and stuff. But I actually was impressed. It wasn't bad at all. It was like, the only thing that cracked me up was the Egyptian culture somehow in California. That was the only thing. I was like, that's a long trek from Egypt. But they pulled it pretty well, where just like, she crossed the Great Water, which I was like, okay, that's a good cover. Like that, okay, that makes it somewhat plausible where they just ended up in thing. But also, if you're like, I must say history buff, where you also have the Mayan culture and stuff that had pyramids too back in the day. So people always wonder, like, oh, why do they have pyramids like all at the same time? So
right.
But it was an enjoyable movie. Like I said, it just felt like it was, well, it's Tubi because there is commercials, where it's just like, it felt like it was edited for commercials. That's where I was just like, I was asking about the whole rating thing. Was like, okay, on the film thing was rated R, but on the TV thing was TV 14. And it was just like, but the violence is there.
I'm starting to wonder if that's just a different thing for Tubi.
I'm wondering if that's too, because I was just like, because it's weird, because when you go on IMDb, it's like R for violence and nudity, and I was just like,
I mean, it might be different because TV 14 might be the TV version of what rated R is. You know what I mean?
Well, but TV 14 was adult themes, but even back in the day, TVMA was always the mature one. That's where you see, because like that's the thing which sucks about TV, where it's just like that the TVMA was always, because TV 14 is always like, for example, like Law and Order and things like that, where you don't see anything, it's just the themes. But and
Mhm.
there's the violence, like the violence is really, really big. But usually when they do the MA thing, it's sexual content and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, when they do TVMA, it's like more brutal, like and more
Yeah.
like stuff they really don't want you to see. I mean,
Mhm.
the pretty quick nudity scene was not, was not a
Yeah,
big deal
there's
to me.
nothing explicit about it.
But if it were on Sci-Fi Channel, that would be cut out,
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying,
stuff. So I'm
exactly.
wondering like how they handled that because like that was a big part of, like I guess they would have just cut to the lady said the hotel manager or whatever
Mhm.
yelling at the guess she was the hotel manager. Do hotel managers stay at the hotels? I'm
Yes,
not
the hotel.
sure.
Well, she could have been like the, yeah, it could either be a hotel manager or the clerk, because they do that because at the front desk and everything.
Mm,
So that's the thing. Yeah, they do that for that. But I was just like, but no, it was just a question I was wondering, because I was like, that was interesting. I was just like, okay, because I didn't feel like it was over the top at all when it comes to certain things, because I've seen TVPG stuff have certain stuff, and like, so it's just like that's what I was wondering. I was like,
yeah.
interesting.
I'm not sure. All right, but I think we're talking a lot about that when
Yeah.
we should be talking more about
About
the
the
actual
story.
movie. Yeah, we're a little hung up on that. Um, I can see Paul like going, "Hey, come on, I want to hear
Yeah,
more."
is it? Come on, man. Review a
Uh,
movie. Review it. Here's your
so yeah,
$5.
so you got all these characters, and they are on a dig, and they come across the
Tombs. Yeah,
tombs,
the tomb. Yeah.
and so they're really excited because it's like they got the chance to see this amazing, find, Zach Galligan and fucking Gremlins.
Mhm.
He didn't do any kind of Gremlins reference or anything. Maybe he doesn't want to do those.
Mhm.
Like I'm surprised they didn't throw in some kind of you know, you know what I would have done if I wrote it. I would have said I would have, and I knew Zach Galligan was going to be in it, or whatever. I would have wrote something like, hey, whatever the professor's name, professor, hey, professor, check out this gizmo over here. Just why not?
Oh, you're right.
I met him once and he is such a nice guy. But yeah, I'm sure he gets references and other things
Oh,
all the
most
time.
definitely. Yeah, no, it was a. I was just like, but it's like, but let's go. The beginning of the movie, basically, it's two bikers doing sports bikes, riding around in the California desert, and they fall in the hole, and that's where how they found the Egyptian tombs, or however you want to call it. That's when that's when they're like, oh, it's Egypt, and people are thinking it was a fake because it's California desert. It's like, why is there an Egyptian tomb in the California desert? Um, but they pulled that part off really, really well. I felt like the actors, the kills were good. Um, it was cohesive. Like, I actually enjoyed the movie. Like, I really like it. Was the story was simple, but like I said, cohesive. The acting was good. A lot of people always, that's on my end. Like, someone's probably dying.
That's okay.
But
Well, it's not
fire station.
okay if they're dying.
Well, not okay. No. but no, it's like they're literally down the street where I live, where the fire department is. So you're going to hear a lot of those.
Yeah.
But no, I felt like it kept my interest. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I would definitely want to see Paul Bales do more as a director.
I
Like,
would too.
I would really, because he actually had like, he had a good eye, like, where you don't think that it's like a lot of people do like a feature like first time, you're like, they're gonna drag the story, they're gonna make the scenes long, and it's like he had like, he made the image, like, even for like the motel sequences and rooms, it feels like he used a lot of not natural lighting, but practical lighting
Mm.
in the scenes. So it was just like, he kept the scenes interesting. He kept the story going. The acting was really, like, I'm not saying Academy Award winning acting. Like, if I were like to rate them like out of 5 stars, I would give it 3.5, like almost 4.
I
Like, people
was
look at me like, why? And I'm like, it's like, because it's Asylum being Asylum. I enjoy their
right.
movies. It has production value. Like, it does have
I,
production. It has
I
production value.
I give it 4 stars.
Yeah. I'm like,
I think
I'm
so because like
yeah.
it's not for an asylum production where they kind of, I mean, they're not $1 million production
No, no,
company
no.
or more. Like, and even $1 million is low budget for
Mm,
Hollywood. They're very ultra low budget. And, I think most of their movies were generally 250 grand,
yeah.
or whatever. And what they can put together on that is amazing.
Yes.
I mean, uh I think the costumes and the effects and everything were just, pretty awesome,
Yeah, because like that was
and
what I was like that was my one thing I was worried about was just like, okay, it's gonna be that because like it was around a time when like the Mummy Returns and stuff, like because it was almost like that whole almost like because there are a bunch of mummy movies at the time during that time, but it was just like, okay, how are they gonna pull? Because I already know the special effects or computer graphics, like I said, it is low budget. But it's just like it's like the Power Ranger low budget, where it's just like, okay, the electric shocks with the visuals and stuff, and then but the practical effects and the makeup, I was really impressed. It's like, oh dang, okay, they actually put stuff into that, and it's just like, so I was like, I really did enjoy it. So I said, like I said, about I would give 4 out of 5. um like the script wasn't bad at all. Like
Mhm.
I was actually really impressed. I was like, and I like their stuff anyways. And now, but I was just like, it was
Well,
very enjoyable and it kept my attention.
if you're looking for like, the most amazing project ever or something like that,
Mm.
I mean, the Asylum puts out movies that you know what you're getting yourself
Yeah,
into
you're
when
gonna
you see
enjoy
it.
it. It's entertainment
Either
value.
you're going to enjoy it or you're not going to enjoy it. And if
Mhm.
you're not going to enjoy it, then you shouldn't be watching the movies. I mean, because they're all going to be, kind of a certain formula.
Oh
The
yeah.
certain formula is a group of people get together, they unleash this evil, entity. This evil entity starts taking them one by one,
Mhm.
and then, in this one they have a horde of legion or mummy zombies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, would that be a mombies or
Mombies.
something? Mumbies?
Where's
Mumbies?
my mommy? That line always like killed me.
I bet they
No,
had that in the trailer. That sounds like a trailer line.
yeah, right.
I
No,
didn't
it's
see
just
the
like,
trailer for this, but
and this is the thing too of like the Asylum, which is funny because it's B movies. They're not trying to do it. Like I said, they know what they're doing. They're authentic about it, and they have a sincerity about it, and they have a passion. They enjoy what they're doing, and it's
exactly.
just like I feel like I enjoy their movies more than these art house slash elevated horror companies bring things out like A24, where I'm just like, oh my god, like I don't
Well,
care about the lighthouse, I don't care about the witch. Like I'm just like, and that's the thing about the running times where I was mentioning the other day, where like it was because people like always trying to like make these horror films go 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I'm like, why? Like, so like I also feel the same way with comedies where I just like I feel like horror or comedy, but certain kind of genre comedy and horror where it should be 75 minutes to 90 minutes
even
tops.
comedy is becoming 2.5 hours long.
Dude, I know, and I write comedy for a living. That's where my bread and butter is. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, it's just like, not just that, but it's broad comedy. Like everyone who makes comedy, they make it broad, where you could be cinematic with comedy and make it a decent comedy, basic story, like production value. It's once again, it's like horror films for a lot of like
Hmm.
horror filmmakers nowadays. It's all about style, or oh, look at all the blood and guts effects, and oh, there's nudity in it. And I'm like, it's like, okay, that's not going to hold my interest anymore because I've seen it since the films in the 70s and the 80s that actually had a story
Well,
and acting.
nudity is one of those things that we've talked about this on multiple different shows and
Hmm.
platforms. Nudity is sort of one of those things where it gets really,
Old.
it's like you have nudity and on the internet, like constantly.
Exactly.
You can just look up boobs on the internet and
And
you
it's
see
not just
them.
that. I think it's because shock value, like, oh, there's boobs, like kind of like the shock, like the frat boy, like, or high school, junior high, like, ooh, boobs. But it's just like to the point where it's just like, what does it have to do with the story? That's the thing where a lot of people don't do it now, where it's just like, if it's set in a strip club, I'm like, okay, there's going to be nudity.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you.
But I'm just like, but like all of a
Well,
sudden, like I
I've
was
seen
watching
some strip
something.
clubs where they don't show the nudity. They show
I
just
like,
a,
I like that. I like where like the actual creative about it. And
yeah.
but that's the thing too, where it's just like, well, I was watching a movie the other day, and all of a sudden it was just like had nothing to do with it. All of a sudden, like, oh, we're just gonna throw nudity and a sex scene in, and I'm like, where did
Why?
that like why? Like that took 5 minutes of the movie, which could have been shorter. You put that 5 minutes is because you just want to add something. So I
Oh,
sit
I've
there.
been told that one company said they wouldn't distribute my movie because it didn't have nudity. Now, that same company years later doesn't do that anymore,
Hmm,
or whatever. So, I mean, I guess I could ask them to if they want to distribute, but no, like I lost interest because I heard because it didn't have nudity in it, they didn't want it. All I heard was we don't want it because we want you to put extra trash into the
hmm.
movie. And look, not saying like the asylum when they used to do nudity, they don't do nudity anymore. Do you know why?
Mm-mm.
Their
Because they do
movies go to
sci-fi,
fucking Sci-Fi
sci-fi,
Channel,
yeah,
and Sci-Fi can't have
and
it. So,
Lifetime too now, in Lifetime too, because they also been doing
hmm,
other their mysteries and stuff. Also, go to
yeah,
Lifetime.
and their Lifetime and their Sci-Fi channel stuff are really fun, and they can't have nudity in it because that's
Exactly.
just you can't. It's a whatever prime kind of cable company, but they're not like that. They're not Showtime. They're not
Mm-hmm.
HBO, or whatever. And so you don't get the nudity on the thing, but like a movie like this, you'll get on Tubi or you'll get it on
Mm-hmm.
DVD. I've been wanting to buy this on DVD at some point, so I'm probably
Yeah,
going to.
I really want to try to find this on DVD because I want to see if there's a difference. Like once it goes back to the rating thing, I want to see the whole thing without commercials because that's one thing that always bugs me is commercials. But that's just a pet thing for me.
Also, I want to see if they have commentary with Paul.
Ooh, yes, that would be
Because
interesting.
that used to be their really big thing. Selling point for me was they would get commentary for all
Mm-hmm.
of their films and stuff. And I'm pretty sure that means that they had it for this, but I mean, I could be wrong. So I
No,
don't quote
it's
me on
true
that.
because like other companies do that too. Like a lot of low budget companies do that, and it's like now that I'm moving back up NorCal, where I could actually get my TV and DVDs, so I could actually watch DVDs and start collecting again. But because I don't have that stuff here in LA. But but yeah, no, it's just like it was really enjoyable. I'm like sitting like waiting for Asylum to call me and say, "Hey, Chad, you want to write and direct a movie for $5?" And I'd be like, "All right." But it's just like it's just a fun. It's like they have a fun environment. That's what I like about it. So
Now, I mean, I hate to say it, if this movie wasn't very good, we probably still would be reviewing it, and I would be talking about this things I didn't like about it, which I don't think there really was anything I didn't enjoy about it. I
yeah,
like,
and you see that's the thing because like I was sitting there like I said, it held my attention. Like I had a notepad. Like I have a notepad all the time with me when I watch stuff, and like this is not from the movie, but I'm just like I really didn't have anything bad. Like I always like I put little bits. Like I have the only thing I had was the title was kind of like before I even know it was the title threw me off. The rating thing, the chick who played like that the Claudia Links. I was like I would love to cast her in my movies. But it's just like it
or
was
she will still do stuff because I mean, it doesn't seem like she's acted in a while,
no,
so
no, like I
maybe.
said, she's like I did like a deep dive. Like she's like 40 now, but like she models. Like that's the thing where I'm like and she was more known for her modeling. So I was just like, oh, okay. Cause like I always try to like when I after I see a movie, I always try to see their IMDb, see what they've done other things. And it's just like, but like I said, the big one was I would actually like to see Paul Bales direct something again. Like seriously, he'd probably be like, I'm too old for this shit. But I'd be like, I would actually like to see him direct something. He actually had a point of view, and it's just like it was an enjoyable movie.
Hmm.
And
Well,
that's
I
what
think what really helped him was the fact that he's one of the head producers and stuff. So he's probably been on the sets,
well, he
he's
probably's done
seen.
short films too. Like everyone, like I said, everyone, like for some reason, I'm not saying him, but everyone in general, like it's like more of a generalization. People's all done like short films, and then they go into the business thinking like, oh, the glitz and the glam, and they sit there and they go and they try to make things with money, and they're like, oh, I don't like directing, I like producing more, or oh, I don't like directing. I rather be an editor because I've had people like that in my career, like I've worked with that do things for like 5 to 10 years and like, you know what? I don't feel like this. Like I have a friend who's more who wanted to be more of a director, but he's done 7 features now. And he's to
I
the point where he was just like, you know what? I need to make money. I'm gonna go edit it. And he edits stuff for like Lifetime Channel and a lot of stuff, and he makes a living.
right. I Here's the thing. So I was working on a project, and this was back in 2010. So it was a
Okay.
little while ago. But I was working on a project, and I had the worst time producing it,
Mhm.
like the worst time. I hated it, and I was not happy. I was tired, and I was wanting to kill everybody and everything. And at the end of the day, I wasn't, so like a couple weeks later, I was like thinking about it, and I was like, I don't think I want to. I looked up at a friend of mine. I was like, I don't think I want to produce anymore. And she was like, well, then what are you gonna do? And I was like, maybe just write, because like writing is a simple thing, like
Yeah, it
you
could be a
just
simple.
it can be a simple thing, and but if you like detach yourself from the script, it's a lot better. Like if you
Mhm.
know you're not going to produce it, you're not going to act in it, you're not going to direct it, or whatever, and you're just writing it, then when people send you notes, you can rewrite it, you can do everything because you have no fear of like having, because I think what really, as a writer, and I bet Paul felt that way when he wrote this movie, is that when you start writing it and you're directing the film, and you're producing the film,
A
you're
lot of
doing
yeah, a lot of compromising.
all of it. You gotta like look at it on different perspectives. You gotta
Mhm.
put in your producer hat, you gotta put on the writer hat, but you gotta like say, okay, well, I love this for the writing aspect, but this doesn't work for this scene necessarily because I'm directing it in this scene, and as a producer it just doesn't, you know what I mean?
No,
So
yeah,
like,
see, and it's funny because you're saying like, because like I love like wearing a lot of hats. Where it's like it's funny that you mentioned that because a lot of people like I was talking to my friend in LA. I'm more known for acting, comedy, my podcasting, and outside of LA, I'm more known as a producer director. And with me, I know how to separate it because I guess it's the Capricorn OCD in me where it's just like I get very like okay when I write like I write it, I'd be like, okay, I'm directing it. I put the director hat and I'm like, okay, can I visually make it? It's like I'm really good at separating it. And
mhm.
that's why I like it. Like I hate producing, just alone, being alone, like a regular producer, I can't do it. If I'm like writing, producing, or directing, producing, acting, producing, I could do like that to me. And also to the point where now, because I've done the whole route where I try to work for other people, where I'm just like, a lot of my success and my accomplishments are based on projects that I write, direct, produce myself. I'm just like to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go that route where I'm just like, because
Mhm.
I wrote for other people. Like it's funny because that's where, like I said, I make money in LA. I make money acting and writing, like especially comedy writing, where because people are like, because I know the pacing, I know how to write, and when people read their scripts, I write like, oh, this is a Chad Meisenheimer script, which is a great thing because people always want to label me and they see it and they're like, oh, okay, that's okay, this and this. And that's the fun thing where it just like goes back to the Asylum, where it's just like you can see that with their movies. It's an Asylum movie. And you're
Right.
like, that's what I enjoy about it. I'm like, there's very few companies that can pull that off, where it's just like their brand, it works for them. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the thing I think what I enjoy about it. Like it goes back to them being authentic. They have fun with the project. Yes, filmmaking is crazy and it's a blast when everything actually works because movies fall apart all the time. Been on many
Mhm.
projects where projects like
Yeah.
fell apart. Like I even was as a writer, same thing happened. I was writing something for Kevin Hart and everything went in like 2 weeks. In
Uh,
2 weeks, you're like, oh, sorry, the project's not happening anymore.
and then you know what? Actually, it's funny. One of my friends was uh back in the day. He actually got cast in Mad Max movie.
Okay.
It was before Fury Road. And he was cast, and he was so excited they got him to the fitting, you know, for it. Like he was getting fit for it and everything, and he actually like got to wear the costume and everything. Then bam, next day the funding fell through, and
Oof.
they're not going to make the movie.
Yep.
Um, by the way, if you can see that or not, I don't think you can, but no, I don't
What about
think
the
you can.
posters? I'm looking at it
Okay,
right now.
no, it's from eBay. It says Legion of the Dead DVD by Legion of the Dead. Very good, right?
Mm-hmm.
$160. on eBay,
Jeez.
right?
Wow.
Underneath it is another one for $6.
Wow.
I'm like, based on the two, which one do you think I'm gonna go for? Because I'm gonna buy one of it. I'm gonna buy it today.
But what's the difference? Is there like is there commentary tracks or
no? I don't. It's the same DVD.
Wow.
And it even says very good. Like it's not new or
How much you want to bet? It's probably like Paul Bales, like, I'm gonna try to sell this. I need to make money for the next movie.
It's second sale, so I don't think so. But I don't know why second sale is usually really good. I get a lot of my DVDs from them, and they're usually really good. I don't know why they would. Maybe it's out of print.
Maybe
harder to buy, but like I don't know, like the one that's $5 by Declutter, who I also do with, says very good. So and they have two available.
Wow, gotta check that out.
I'm gonna grab
one.
Like,
dear Ma, this is what I want for Christmas.
It's only $6. I mean, it's not.
Oh, exactly.
Like, not breaking the bank like, there.
Really, Ma? So it's only $160.
$160. Oh, Jesus! Don't do that to your poor mom.
You'd be like, yeah, you love me, right, Ma? From her almost 38-year-old
smart enough. She'll look it up on Legion of the Dead, like on eBay, and see both
the $6.
Right? And she'll like, I think I'll go with the other one for him.
Exactly.
Cheaper
like, this son of a bitch is trying to bamboozle me.
This is the one I want, Mom. The $160 one. This is out of print. You can't get it anywhere else.
Right.
Nice. Paul Bales is probably like, damn it, where's that? That should be going into the pocket of the asylum, not
right.
Not second sale. Like,
right. They really should, like, because like I think their website, I haven't gone to their website for a while. Like they sell they sell their catalog, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm like, that wouldn't make sense if they sell their catalog, because I know the newer stuff they do.
Yeah, a lot of it goes on Tubi, as we saw this on Tubi, which I love. Troma started putting their shit on Tubi, and so does.
They also have that, and also NBC for like the Peacock channel. They actually have a lot of their stuff on their Halloween collection right now from Troma.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was scanning through that because like I was like Troma films on Peacock for horror. I was like, sheesh.
Well, that's funny. That's Universal. Like, I'm surprised that Universal will be like.
Well, I mean, Troma. They're probably like, Trump was like, here's a few $100. Like,
oh yeah, they probably paid.
Be like, yes.
They probably paid to get on.
Right.
They didn't get paid. They pay. They're like, like, let me get our shit on Peacock. That's actually kind of smart, to be honest.
Yeah, very smart, especially under the Halloween collections.
I'm really excited because tomorrow I leave for Kentucky and I get to meet Lloyd this weekend. So
never met him in person, but I've talked to him. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. People always sit there like, oh, because like I tried to do, like, when I was 17, I was in film school and I was trying to get to intern for him in New York, and he's just like, you're under 18 and you're trying to intern us in New York for no money. Like, wait till you're like 21 or something to come out. So
that's a better idea to do that. And then when you're 21, you got too smart. Like,
I
don't want to go back out there and do that.
It's like, ooh, that's a flight.
I mean, me honestly, I wanted to do stuff in the office for the asylum, get an office job and stuff. But unfortunately, they weren't hiring for the office when I went out to LA and stuff.
I don't think they still are, like, because
they probably have their people,
Oh, they have their own people. Yeah, it's like if they were like offer me a job, I definitely work for them. Like, that's the thing. Like, I was just like, I like them. I think, what was the other distributor that was interesting? Maverick, I think I would do. There's another company I'm brain farting for, but there's companies that I would definitely like to work for, like just to have the knowledge and the experience. Like, I've had a year's experience, because like some of them, when I approach these like independent companies, they're like, you have too much experience. I'm like, yeah, but why not take advantage of that experience? And because I grew up like I said, Asylum Pictures came out, like, was like all their stuff coming like well, they did the mockumentaries, like the mockumentaries, mock buster movies in like the 2000s. But like I said, they did like, what was it, art house, and they were like a whole bunch of things that they were doing, and I was like, oh, like even at a young age, like I was just like, oh, I want to work for this company. I want to work for this company, even if it's
Mm-hmm.
just a minimum wage. Hey Jack, get us coffee. And I'd be like, all right. I can see them doing that for me being 40 years old. Watch, I'll be like, because I'm almost 38, but I'll be like 40. Want me to get your coffee, guys? And they're like, Chad, go
I'm
home.
40 and I was happy. I actually, interestingly enough, on Collision Earth, on the set, they had asked me on my birthday, on my 40th birthday. No, wait,
Nice.
no, it wasn't 40th because this was 40th this year.
So
So
it'll
it
be
must have been
39.
2 years. I was 38th birthday.
Dang.
38th birthday, they asked me to come out. And I was super excited because that was the best birthday present ever.
Mhm.
Like
Oh
screw
yeah.
anything else that anybody, whatever. I got a chance to be on a fucking asylum movie.
Exactly.
I've been dying to like, do that and just, so I was so excited. I was really happy that they invited me out there, and then I took the place of an actor, and it was last minute, and this
Nice.
happens, and
Oh
then
yeah.
these like low budget things is like, hey, we
Even
need
big
you to,
budget things, even big budget things. It's just like,
yeah, I
it's
mean
like no
somebody,
matter what, it's just like the how, like any movie or TV show gets made. That's what always cracks up. That's why I try not to say things suck, because it takes work and effort. Like it really has to go out of my way to say something, because I usually say, I didn't like it. Oh, it's not my thing. Like, but there's certain things where I sit there and I'm just like, okay, that sucks. But I try to avoid that,
well,
because
look, I mean,
I try to
you
find
look at
redeeming
stuff,
qualities.
we look at stuff on Indie Film Cafe
Mm,
as we do the stinkometer, right?
mm,
And we love stinky movies. We
mm.
do. Like, we love really bad films because they're fun.
Oh yeah.
Birdemic, fun movie.
Oh, you see,
Terrible.
I was not in. I was not like, there
You were
was
bored
no.
by it or something?
I couldn't find no redeeming quality in it. I was like, ugh.
It was so bad. It was fun. Birdemic 2, we just reviewed for Patreon only. And the problem with that movie was they already knew that that the first movie was such a bad movie that they kind of decided to lean in on that. And
Mhm.
that was the problem. Is like, okay, we're going to repeat all the things that people thought were stupid. We're going to do that.
There was a movie. There's a bunch of Bay Area filmmakers. You got to check, and they don't make films no more because they had day jobs. But they were they shot their features on Canon GL1. So that's how old these movies were.
Mhm.
It's called Monstered.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You saw it, right?
We're going to do it on Indie Film
Oh,
Cafe at some point.
oh, you got to do it. And then their follow up, Retarded. Oh, and that was so bad. I'm like, that
I've
one
heard
used to be.
Retard Dead isn't as good as Monster.
Oh no, Monster
But
was really. I
I'm
enjoyed Monster.
excited to see those movies and whatnot. I love that kind of stuff. Like people who
But you see, they
like
did it, but
The
they had fun.
Asylum, they know what they're doing.
Yep.
They're not making a movie. Legion of the Dead is exactly what you expect it to be. It's
It was
a
an entertaining popcorn flick that would, like, people, if you want to have something to chill and relax and watch and
or
not be
I
like
mean, I
be
don't
bogged
drink anymore.
down.
I've been 9 years sober, but if you want to drink and do a drinking game with it, that's the kind of movie. And I love that. I love Trauma. I love Full Moon. I love Asylum. I love these companies because they know exactly who they are. They're
Mhm.
not compromising it in any way. They're not going, okay, well, we're going to make this big mainstream Hollywood type movie.
Mhm.
They're making movies like Legion of the Dead, Sharknado,
Oh, I love Sharknado.
yeah, Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus. Like
Mhm.
they want to make something fun and silly and goofy. And if you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. They don't give a fuck. They get a paycheck no matter what. And they understand that. Like this isn't going to be for everybody. So us
Exactly.
saying like 4 stars for this movie out of 5 might be like a 2 star for somebody else,
Mm.
or whatever, because they just don't like
Get
that
it.
kind of stuff. Bruce Boxleitner, by the way, we forgot to mention him, and he was phenomenal in the movie. I wish he had a
Yep.
bigger part. Honestly, I wish the sheriff was,
Mhm.
had bigger scenes. But and Andy Lauer, Andy Lauer, as he was the morgue guy, and oh my
Mhm.
god, I love him. him and Beast of Bray Road was probably my favorite thing he's ever done, period. But he's been in the he always plays like a redneck type character
Mhm.
in the asylum stuff or whatever. And and I love his voice. I love the way he does. I just absolutely adore that guy. So I just this whole movie, this whole like thing was just great.
Yeah,
But
I enjoyed it. I
yeah,
enjoyed
you
it.
enjoyed it, and I was happy because I knew you had. I don't know. I wasn't sure if you had worked with the asylum. I think you had told me that, but I
No,
wasn't
I
sure.
have not. I have not worked with Asylum yet. I've
But
done like I've auditioned for many of their projects,
okay,
other projects. Yeah, but it's just
okay.
like I've been always been a fan of their stuff, and like I know people. It's like in like because I'm also a filmmaker. I meet people who work with them, and then and that's the thing. Like that's what I'm saying. Where it's just like I said, I felt like I met Paul before. Like I'm telling you, I feel like it. I don't think you would remember, but I like I said, I met Glenn, I met Scotty, and all them, and I even talked to them. Like this was when Glenn's now like a director. He was an AD at the time, like during all the Sharknado stuff and everything. So it's just like, yeah, I was like, what was it? The zombie, what's it? Oh god, what was it? The animal ones they did. But Glenn does a lot of
Zombies?
zombies, yeah.
Yeah.
I auditioned for the sequel, but that was the one that I went in the office and like, yeah, it was just like it was a great little atmosphere. Everything it was open space. I was just like, oh, okay. It's just like they have a good vibe. There's like a good vibe with them, and it just doesn't feel like it's all malicious and stuff. Because like when you go to certain things, like when you pitch the things, like I pitched to NBC and I pitched the thing, you kind of get that corporate vibe.
Hmm.
They don't have that. Like,
First of
I'm
all,
not
they're
one.
not. I don't consider them
Well,
corporate.
a lot of
Like,
production companies and studios, like even like low level ones, even like indie ones, they try to pull off that whole corporate world vibe. Like, oh, we're gonna be corporate, and you could tell that because like there's like things where it's just like one where it's just like there's companies. I'm not gonna say the name of them because I know people at the other ones, and I have worked with them. So it's like these ones I won't say the names for, just because I've worked with them and they have paid me.
you
It's
don't
like,
want to,
yes, I like the check very, very much.
yeah, and I'd like another one, please.
Yes, exactly. Well,
I don't think they'd be seeing this. It's okay.
I never
Um,
know. They do follow me. One of there's one company I work with or have worked with. Their CEO does follow me on Facebook. He does
you're
know me.
calling
So,
them out, bruh.
well, they really know. They're probably laughing now. They're like, Chad.
It was funny when I first interviewed Lee Scott, who was a big part of the asylum. David Michael Latt was following me on that, or whatever I was watching. I was like, oh, I'm glad you listened to the, interview. And he was like, I was just making sure Lee wasn't telling any of our secrets. and, and then at first I laughed and thought, oh, that's funny. And then I was like, wonder if that's true. Like if he was really doing that, because like, and I don't think he did. I don't think he told any secrets.
No, I don't
But
think that's because I watched a couple. Like I watched a documentary the other day, on the Sharknado thing, and the site was pretty open with their stuff. They're like, nope, this is what we're doing. This is how we do it.
yeah,
And
this is how we do it.
yeah,
I mean, I've gotten the play by play what like before somebody sent me like basically the list of what sci-fi looks for in their
mhm.
scripts. So you have to put all of these different. And this was 2008, I think.
Yeah,
2007-ish. This was like the time period where the sci-fi had a formula. You
yeah.
know,
But that's also when sci-fi was sci-fi, not brought out by NBC yet. I don't think they were
Yeah,
brought out yet.
nowadays it's all fucking WWE and stuff on
Yeah.
sci-fi, and I'm like, are they gonna start having aliens fight with like that'd be awesome, But like, what does wrestling have to do with the Sci-Fi Channel?
Mhm.
It's rebranding of a lot of these
Oh, it's getting
channels.
bad right now. Especially, and
Yeah,
that's the reason why I'm like kind of not disappointed that I'm moving. Where it's just like I'm still in the business, but it's just like I don't have to worry because a lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of staffers, a lot of staff writers and stuff are losing their job because of the rebranding. Because you have the whole WB thing, and then you have like because everyone's trying to go to streaming. And it was kind of funny because I was had a friend on Twitter who's like, "Hey, I got this idea. What if we all put all the different streamers onto a black box and pay a monthly fee all at once?" Basically television,
yeah,
because
television
everyone
or like
because basically
satellite or whatever.
all the streamers like want you to have their stuff now, and it's just like Oh, because like
It's gonna be the death of film and television because nobody because right now this is the worst time
mhm.
because we are right now in a very bad recession. We're in like a
Yeah,
terrible, you
yeah, it's gonna
know,
get worse. It's gonna
and
get
it's going to
worse.
get worse right now until like they're able to get it, to get it back up. But the thing is, we're in such a bad time period, and all these companies, Disney Plus and all these streaming sites are saying, are we're going to go up to $15 a month, and so
And they're
that
doing
means
ads now too. They're going back to doing ads. Like
so yeah, so
Netflix is
like
doing ads next year.
yeah, so all these companies are doing ads now. I think we're gonna be end up. My family's gonna be end up paying for the Netflix. Whatever the highest thing is,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh,
So
my mom pays
whatever.
that. I just mooch off of that one.
Yeah, I kind of mooch off my family, kind of thing for Netflix. I mean, I pay for my Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I'll pay extra for that because like my parents don't,
But the
family
only
don't care
good
about
thing,
that.
because it goes back to the point about the recession thing, because that's one thing too, because because we're like millennials, like we're elder millennials, so we see what's
We're old.
happening.
It's true though,
We
because
are
like
we're
I did
we're
not know I was
elderly,
a
we're
millennial.
elder
I got mad when I
millennials.
found that out. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
I
was sitting
want
there,
to
I was
be a
like, man,
Gen.
I'm like they say, oh, you're an elder millennial. I'm like, geez, I'm like, I already feel bad turning 38 soon. Like, what the hell? But the one good thing, what sucks about the recession, because there's gonna be a recession. Government hasn't said anything about it. Like you could tell, like everything in the business where people losing their jobs and where they're not spending money and they're not shooting in LA and stuff like that. Where I think the next 5 years we're gonna have a big surge of really popular, like low budget to what's like low budget, micro budget features. So it's
Mm,
gonna be like what happened in the 70s and the early 1920s. Silent, like I feel like it's gonna be a mixture because technology is different than the 1920s and the 70s. But I feel like we're gonna have that kind of like a split from the 70s and then like the 1920s, and it's gonna be a weird like melting pot. But I'm guarantee you, like my bet in the next 5 years, that's what's going to be. People will rather watch those than what the studio's doing, because the studios are only making tentpole movies because movie theaters are too expensive. And it's just like I
it's
live in LA and there's tons of movie theaters and I go see a bunch of movies and stuff. This was before the pandemic. Before the pandemic, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go to AMC, Cinemark, Regal, all these different things. But now I'm just like, ugh. Like I rather stay home, and that's the thing. The pandemic made that happen where people realized, you know what? I have this big ass screen TV, which is 4K, like not here, but just in general, that they're saying they have a sound bar, sound system.
mm,
They could order DoorDash, Grubhub, sitting there with their friends and family, lighting
yep.
the movie thing, and they could enjoy a movie. It's an event for them. That's what film cinemas used to be. It was just like that is an event where people are doing that now in home, and that's due to the pandemic, and people realize that.
And here's the thing. So like the Asylum puts their stuff out on Tubi.
Mhm.
Smart idea.
I would love to have them put like eventually like business wise. I would love to see them do their own streaming service because
I
I would
thought
pay
about
for
that
that. I
too,
would
but
I would pay for that like that because like yeah, they have a backlog. They probably have like a smaller backlog. Like it's not like no Lionsgate or something. But I would actually do that, and I would like to see like documentaries. Maybe they could do like add documentaries that are films and going back and like stuff like just fun stuff where not expensive because the overhead's not going to be like this is the Capricorn in me. Sorry, I'm very business oriented when it comes to that. Where it's just like when you do that, they could do that. Yeah, the servers
well,
and stuff, but
everybody
it's
starts out small, right?
mm-hmm,
Like Disney Plus had their thing like $6,
mm-hmm.
$6 a month for
But they
like the
own
first
everything
year.
though.
Then they went up to like 7. Now they're going up to like 10, or whatever, So you have to start out small and work your way up. Every
Mm-hmm.
year, inflation happens, so the money happens, or whatever.
Exactly.
And that's understandable. Like that doesn't bother me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Netflix has been in the game for so long that they kind of deserve to be as high as
Oh
they
yeah,
are with as far as
and they
money.
have a good strategy. Like I ain't knocking no streamers. Like it's a hustle. Like, but like I said, I would like to see Asylum do something similar. I
Well, I
enjoy
would
Asylum
too,
movies.
because then they could do more original television shows and stuff too.
Yes.
And that would be a hook because their TV is amazing. Have you
Oh
seen
yeah. What was it
um
Was it Black Summer?
Summer? Black Summer
Black.
or something like that?
I think it was like that. And then I really love their. Oh man, I don't know why I'm brain farting. Their zombie one. Oh my god, I watched all of them. Zombie was it Zombie Nation,
Zombie
right?
Nation or
Yeah,
something.
I like Zombie
Zombie.
Nation. Zombie Nation had that good like low budget film, but Black Summer I want to say was on Netflix, so they had a little more production behind it, like money wise.
Was that? Yep, that was the right name. I was gonna say because I was like, wait, I'm looking it up.
Yeah,
Black
season
Summer, and
one was amazing at Black Summer. Like it was a well made series. Like that's the thing, but I also like Zombie Nation and all that stuff like that. Like they have good stuff. Like I enjoy their stuff. But yeah, so like I
let's
said,
see.
where I would say like go back to the Asylum, where just like they have good stuff. I wish more people watch more of their stuff. Hopefully, some rich investor be like, "Hey, I'm gonna invest in their stuff."
Right. I mean, if I'm sure if
I would actually
somebody
love to
came
see
up
them.
to
I would
them,
like I wanted to pitch to Bales like Bales, you should do like a go meta on this movie and like do like
Z
a
Nation, Z
Z
Nation.
Nation. That's the I was like I
Yeah, I was like,
know
wait,
it's
Zombie Nation, but that doesn't sound exactly right as Z
no
Nation, which is Zombie Nation, pretty
yeah.
much. Um, basically that's their answer to The Walking Dead.
Mhm.
And
And I liked it better
but
than The
honestly,
Walking
I'd watch Z
Dead.
Nation over The Walking Dead any
Yeah,
second. I'm not a huge Walking Dead fan, which I get a lot of
nah.
crap for. In
Neither
the
am I. I was just
horror
like
industry,
I watched the first season. I was like, eh. The
I
second
watched
season, the second season I liked, but after that, everything else was a bit
I
crap.
watched up to the governor and stuff, and I just was like, after a while, I was like, I just
It
can't
became a
do it
soap
because
opera.
it just felt like Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm.
Now Groundhog Day's zombie movie. Why
Hmm.
hasn't somebody made that yet? Where like
And the silence gonna be listening, like, we
Paul,
got
I'm
our next
tagging Paul Bales,
movie.
so you can check it out. Fucking but have me write it. I'll write it. I'll
That would
write it
be
in like
hella
3
funny.
days, and you can have it, and you can make it tomorrow, or
Nice.
whatever. Like actually, I'm gonna because this is not coming out for like 10 days. I'm starting to write a treatment out for that
Yeah, write a
because
treatment and like WGA that thing. Yeah, get a copyright, like at least not copyright, but like the treatment, like
I
some
could get
kind
a
of thing,
copy.
like
I could write it in a
register.
couple of days, and then treat copyright that shit, and I'm
Exactly.
going to. So if
Okay.
you guys want it, pay up.
And
I'll
you
do
gotta
it
hire me as
because
your
that is a
director,
really
Paul.
good idea. We
It
haven't
really
made that
is.
yet. I just saw there's a Christmas Groundhog Day that somebody made. It's called Christmas on Repeat, and it's coming on like the Lifetime channel or
There was
whatever.
another one. Yeah, there's another one too. Peacock did something similar called
Eh, Oh
Cute
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fate or something, and I was like, oh.
It was the one with Kaylee Cuoco
And Pete
and
Davidson.
Pete Davidson. I actually kind of liked it. I like it was not a comedy,
Oh
but
no, not
they
at
showed it
all.
off as a comedy, and it was a very dramatic like
Yeah.
fucking movie. But
Well, see, that's the
I
thing.
have the biggest crush
Yeah.
on Kaylee Cuoco. Like she is like if anybody asks me who my number one crush is, it's her. So there you go.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so I absolutely adored that movie. But I also like Groundhog Day kind of stuff. I like Happy Death Day. I get
Mhm.
to meet
That was really
Rob
good.
Mello this weekend too, and I'm excited to meet him like in person. Like we've been friends and chatted and stuff. He's been on my shows, but we've never met in person, and so it was awesome. But yeah, I'm just really like happy. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
First of all, I wasn't surprised because I thought I remembered watching it and
Mhm.
I remember liking it.
Yeah,
So
I remember the
when
biker
I
dudes. I just remember the biker dudes because I remember like me and my brother watching it in biker dudes because we were like laughing, like, did they fall in a hole and then they jumped down in the hole?
Yep, and then I liked all the characters, liked all the acting, I liked all the Paul, like you said, needs to direct more stuff.
Oh,
I'm sorry that we
definitely.
didn't do like a actual review of the movie, like or whatever, but yeah, we pretty much said what we had to say about it. Like I
Yeah,
feel like
like I said, I'll give this movie 4 out of 5 stars. I thought the direction was great, the practical effects and the makeup was amazing. I was just like, it
I
had
like the fact that it's
production value,
mummy zombies. I think that's a and it's
good
literally
combination.
zombies, like they're going around right? Like, and I'm like, that makes total sense because mummies and zombies kind of go together. Like, if you
Exactly.
bring something back from the dead, they just happen to be wrapped up in sheets and stuff. like, why isn't there more of this kind of stuff all the time? I mean, maybe the Mummy movies, but I didn't even really watch the Mummy movies much. I didn't like it because it turned into a action film, you know. And then they did the remake of the Mummy, and I'm like, why didn't you go back to horror? You know,
Right.
like you're like, why did it have to be like with Tom Cruise instead of Brendan Fraser? Which, I mean, honestly, if I'm going to take either or, I'm going to take Tom Cruise over Brendan Fraser in an
Yeah.
action movie, in my opinion. But back in the day, it was cool to see Brendan Fraser become a action star. You know, he was fucking Encino Man. Like, how did he become like? So you're right. This was probably a movie. They saw the Mummy movies were big. Let's go make another. Let's make a. But they didn't call it Mummies of the Dead. They called it
Mm-mm.
Legion of the Dead. And I'm wondering if there was a reason.
Because originally it was a different title movie. Because I remember like when I was doing my deep dive, Film Threat was mad about it because they're like, oh, the title is deceiving. Because originally it was called Unraveled or something like that. So they changed it, called it the Legion of the Dead because they're like, you think like it's Legion, you think once again zombies or vampires, but it was called something else before. Like the original title was something else.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I did a little deep dive. I was just like I said, I was like, whenever I do like review of something, because that's how much I enjoy it. When I enjoy something, and that's a lot saying because I could be a film snob sometimes, where I was just like, I had to find this, this, and this. And when I saw like Paul directed and wrote it, I was just like, man, he needs to do more. Like because
mm-hmm.
I feel like he does, even though he probably would deny it, he does have a director's eye. He probably just got a headache from dealing with everyone. But I feel like he does have a point of view, and you could see it in this movie.
It did say this movie cost 500,000. Now, IMDb saying that
Yeah,
generally it's a little higher than it actually is.
exactly.
Because you know,
I'm going to say between 100 to 200,000.
I'm gonna say 250. That's what I'm gonna stick my neck on. Like, I think that's what they tend to, but I don't
Mhm.
know. Maybe it's less because they were doing a lot of movies at that time, and they
Yep.
were trying. I mean, they put out like generally a movie a month,
Yeah.
if not two, but
Mhm.
mainly one movie a month. I don't know if they're still doing that or not. I it's hard in this industry to like keep up with how many films people are doing, especially
Exactly.
companies like this. You just got to be like, if they're putting out one movie a month, that's awesome. That's 12 movies a year. That's amazing. A lot of times in the summer it's a shark movie in some way or another, or whatever. Nowadays like it's whatever's hot at that moment, and mummies were hot at that moment, and maybe Legion of the Dead 2 could come out someday,
That would be awesome.
It'd be weird though because it's been so long, like people be like, wait, a two of a what movie? Like, I've never heard of this one.
I don't know what was it the even like yeah there's movies like people reboots and stuff, man. A lot of people are doing it, so
Definitely. So I have no problem with all that stuff. I mean, but anyway, yeah. So there you go. I guess that's about it. That about wraps it up. Is there anything like last thoughts? Anything that
no,
you want
I'm
to
like I
share?
loved it. I
I
enjoyed.
did too. I really had a fun time. And if you listen to our review, I don't think we spoiled too much. I didn't tell much of the ending, what happened in there. Which is nice because generally I spoil the shit out of every movie. And that's because generally there's a lot to talk about, and sometimes you just can't, like not, share or whatever, that stuff. But I really enjoyed this movie. I'm actually buying it today on DVD, so it'll come to me in like 2 weeks or
Yeah, I'm
something,
gonna
maybe.
try to get my mom. That'd be like my Christmas present. Ah,
Don't
Christmas.
do that. Don't. That's mean. If you're gonna do that, tell him to give $160 to the asylum themselves,
Right,
because that's not
exactly.
even fair that this company is start. Because if you do that, then second sale goes, oh, somebody bought one of them for that much. Maybe
And
I
then they're
can
gonna
put
do
it.
it over and over and over. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no second sale. You're bad. That's not cool. Don't do that. Um. So yes, I just bought the DVD. It's coming to me right now.
Nice.
So I'm excited. I'll let you know if there's commentary track on it
Definitely tell
or
me. Yeah.
whatever. And if there is, and I'm definitely listening to that shit because I want to hear what Paul had to say about this, or if he is, on it, whatnot.
Mhm.
I know a lot of the same people worked on a lot of the projects. Justin Jones was the first AD. He was the first AD for, I think, all of them back then. So, I mean, God, imagine being on one production and moving on to the next, like right after. And then, I guess you guys everybody becomes like friends and stuff. You kind of form bonds with everybody. So, um, but all in all, I say definitely, if you haven't had a chance to check this movie out, please do. I think you'll love it. And thank you guys for checking this out. Go on Tubi, watch Legion of the Dead. Also, let us know if you have seen it, what your thoughts on it are. And if we're wrong about anything, please let us know. I mean, people do that anyway, but like, like please let us know. Because I mean, when we do these reviews, we're not saying we know everything. We're saying that this is what we know based on what the research we did, or or the lack of research we did, most of the time. So if we're wrong, we're wrong, and we'll gladly admit that. But just leave a comment about that and share and let us know. So with that, I guess I'll let you go. Join us tomorrow for the last episode of the season. Oh boy, it's gonna, and I'm excited for that one. That was a fun one. It's funny, I've recorded the last one before, even the one before the last one. So, but thank you guys, and join us tomorrow for the last episode. Bye.